So welcome to this JMML versus BNNI. We meet the very first meet. Nice flub right when I start. But timestamps are going to be in the description and the pinned comment below. The actual rules will be in the description, although this first meet will be different from the rest due to time limitations that, DX is coming out soon, and so I had to record this with what I had. I would have preferred this to be a 5v5, but without further ado, let's start. I'll be introducing the monsters in a quick little 15-second, 13-second introduction while I get everything set up. So on the left side, we start with the Kato Tiger. It's going to be both sub-tigers, but this one is going to be a Kato Tiger named Jamada. And you'll also notice all these monsters, because of the rules, also had to win their Legend Cup. They all pretty much won a Legend Cup as per the rules that are more specific, but this one is the first monster of a new game. So while the stats are also not optimized, because, well, as you can see, they're 999, and they really shouldn't have been, but obviously you don't want to be less than 950 against the S-rank hard mode monsters, which may take some retries just to get them. Same thing for this Mochi Tiger on the other side. You'll notice that it has less power because there was trouble actually fixing its form near the end, just so that its speed actually hit over 950. I think it's not even over at 950 because, well, the form correction could not be done. So it actually has one level less than speed, which will result in it getting hit more. But for the most part, this is going to be pretty fair on both sides. So again, these matches are going to be best out of two out of three. That whoever wins the best 2 out of 3 wins that match for that side. If one side gets 2 wins before the other, then the third match is going to be more an expedition, but we'll get to that when we get there. So as you begin the match, you'll obviously note that none of the basic text were removed. Again, these were all monsters treated from new game, and just right out the gate, frame 1 Mochi Ray, really nice. But if the Kato gets enraged for its close physical attacks, I imagine it's going to do damage as well, unless Sake Fire hits. Another base tech on hard mode, but we get power from Rillijak over on the right. 49% Sake Fire dodge, and now he has to wait while Mochi has all the time in the world to do a licking, which it does hit, and with the power of power, that's going to be the first KO and the first round win for the BNNY side. Again, both sides are really just me, but it's more towards what I thought would be interesting, and if it's not, well, it is what it is. So let's start the second one. Let's see if anyone does a frame 1 attack at the start of the round. Another Mochi Ray, not exactly frame 1, but it does miss, so that gives Jamada a time to counterattack with Thrust Call. Let's see how much damage it does. 200. With the low defense, I think it's even less than level 2, except for the Mochi, which might have... No, I think it's also still level 1, as opposed to Rillijak doing headbutt and hitting, not doing as much damage. Again, there was some course correcting. I think Rillijak, unfortunately, had less than 30 weeks left of its life, so not much correcting could be done on its power. However, Rillijak does get powered again, just to get Thrust Clawed again, so there we go. At least it's tied 1-1, with a 50-50 coin flip, pretty much on the attacks, so again, this could go any way. The next meets, I plan to impose a stat limitation, but it'll depend on how DX works. Obviously, since this is hard mode vanilla Monster Rancher 2, then yeah, level is all that matters, but we'll see if Tecmo Koei changes any of the point-per-point calculations as we're waiting for the things to come out. Anyway, start of the round, Mochi Ray hits again, but as we just saw, it could go up and down depending on if techs hit or not. Here comes the Thrust Claw. About 200, 169, a bit lower, but that's the nature of RNG. A slap here, even if it hit, wouldn't do as much damage, but up next becomes a Sake Fire. It hits, and that crits for a KO. Unfortunately, I don't think... No, actually, Rillijak does have grit. Unfortunately, it did not proc, so the first whole matchup goes to the JMML side. And I have to note this down as a win on this because I'm not only commentating, but also keeping track and changing the things offside here. However, what I can do while we're loading the next monsters up is going over the next monsters that are going to be in the match. This one going to be a Tiger Hare. Note a lot of Tiger breeds present in this meet, and that is completely random. I was using a seasonal shrine randomizer, which is why the trainer names are so random. It's more just to introduce randomness, so these are literally week 1. Well, for these second monsters, they had a bit more funds because the first monsters were the basis for getting gold. So as we switch these over, I didn't even put up the right icons, but we will introduce Shorko the Tiger Hair with 8 years of life and a bit over 4 months, if I recall, from its lifespan. So again, with the power of training after the first monster and getting the funds necessary, not much trouble training, but there were still things. Again, there were requirements such as being able to go as high as possible. There were no penalties this meet, but we did get Legend Cups. Shorko was also the only one to experience the S-Rank IMA versus FIMBA meet, which was quite interesting because, well, it took a lot of attempts to win. Eventually, I believe it beat Jack of Hearts. The whole training period you can see probably on Patreon. I don't know if I'm going to also throw it up on the YouTube channel as well. However, on the right side, we have a plant model going by the name of Ikenija, if I can find the icon. 9 years and 3 months, I believe, if I look it up right here. Yep, 9 years and 3 months with quite more stats overall. Obviously, one's missing power and one's missing defense. Again, no stat limit this tourney or this meet, but that will change. Again, the trainer, me, was really getting more acquainted with how I should be training, but we'll see in DX if it changes any too much. However, unlike the rest of the monsters, Ikenija does have a more balanced form, a normal form, so that it can make use of its speed and defense. Again, the stats really shouldn't be 999, but I was making sure they could win the Legend Cup, because if not, Moo was any small boost would have helped. So we'll get into the match and see what happens here. You'll notice again, Plant's main weakness right now, since the basic techs are not lost, it does have that physical attack, which we'll see how much damage it does if it actually hits. I can't imagine too much, but again, that's me learning. Start of the round, Seed Gatling into a Roar means Shorko is in the life deficit, but we'll see because, well, with Ice Bomb also ready at the 3rd slot, that can, a good number of ice bombs will mean that the plant will go down despite how much defense it has. From what I've seen, yeah, it can mean really bad things. However, we get another Roar here, it will not be able to attack, and it misses, so Ikenija gets a chance to further its life lead. So yeah, jab for 26 damage, but if nothing else, maybe it'll be able to waste time because Shorko may not even be able to recover, especially not after that withering there. So it might be able to reach it, might not. Even then, if it does, it needs to immediately do an attack. Otherwise, it's going to lose this battle. Ice Bomb, Roar. Here comes a Roar. I wonder if it even killed, but it didn't hit anyway, so we'll never find the answer to that. Unless it comes in a second round, because that's going to be the first victory to the BNNY side for the second monster. Again, I wish the stats could have been more optimized. I mean, aside from life, which should always be pretty much 999, but they both have the no other traits other than the ones that are given at base. Ikenija obviously starting at the evil side with lifesteal, but a frame 1 Roar from Shorko that misses. And now Ikenija gets the counterattack. Toxic Pollen is going to do a bunch of withering and a good chunk of damage. So Shorko may not have lost the full amount of withering, but it's down to 0 guts where he needs to build up, while Ikenija gets all the time in the world to do anything. With the drain life as well, 58% and a bunch of damage, Shorko's going to need a lot of attacks to get back, assuming Ikenija either doesn't run out the time or wither it down again. This is going to be quite the struggle, especially with the guts difference not helping it do a lot of damage. This is looking bad already, but we'll see, Again, Ikenija got a lot more time. With its lifespan, it got to train all of its stats. Didn't need to train power, so yes, while it does have the weakness of its physical attacks, it's usually in the far range to do a frame more on Seed Gatling, a Toxic Pollen, or even more. That bite would have been useful, but again, Ikenija's 999 defense on top of over Shorko's lower power rate. Even if they were the same, it's not enough. So the second whole match goes to Ikenija, which brings us to our third monster match, which is going to be between the Jamada and Ikenija as we switch over. However, all of these monsters did, save for Shorko, funnily enough, who lost in this second matchup. All the rest of the monsters did have to attempt the Legend Cup at least more than once. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they did have to try again because, well, bad things do happen from time to time, and that Legend Cup on hard mode is not really nice for those who aren't prepared. Hard mode in general, it can be a thing for the unprepared, but if you didn't know how, if you're not willing to attempt tourneys multiple times, it can be a bit RNG on that end, which might be an interesting rule set to apply to a future meet, but we're in this meet right now. Again, if you're looking at this right now, Jamada does not have really good overall stat build, but again, anything can happen with skill speed as it is. If Jamada manages to dodge a bunch of times, I can foresee an outcome where he wins, but it is going to be an upward battle. You might be wondering why, if Ikenija ever lost, and I can say yes, but it'll depend on who dodges the most, which is not good if they're trading blows like this. Jamada already had a life deficit, and both of them waiting for 45 guts. For those who don't know, 45 guts is the limit for the AI to attack, unlike in Monster Rancher 1, where AI will just attack anytime it feels like. So again, this slap not doing that much damage, but it does waste time, and it does a little bit of withering for what it does. So Jamada may not get more attacks. So again, really it comes down to who dodges the most, who hits the most, and who does the most damage in the case of the plant doing physical attacks. On the other hand, Jamada doing a Thrust Claw also didn't do much, so we're really looking at the intelligence-based attacks. As Jamada prepares a Sake Fire 50-50, doesn't hit, he might get one more. Ikenija's probably out for the round, but he has to do an attack, otherwise he will lose to the life difference. Ah, that's unfortunate. So again, the whole meet going on, and again, this meet isn't supposed to take a long time. I'm recording this under time restraints on top of DX. Otherwise, again, I would have preferred a 5v5, but that's not the case. Again, looking at power, and Ikenija's higher level defense versus Jamada's lower level power means, yes, the Jamada's physical attacks aren't going to do as much damage as they should, on top of having to whittle Ikenija down from 999, whereas Jamada has a 565 max HP pool. Start of the round for Jamada there, but doesn't hit. Ikenija already looking good already. This is not looking good, however, for the me side. So I am going to lose to the bunny, it looks like. 69% hits, and that could definitely be it. The plant now is just going to determine whether or not it gets KO, which again is another rule set I was considering, but since that's not the case this one is more the opener meet, and I will accept my loss, even though it really is me against me. The side that has my initials in it is pretty substantial. Slash claw misses, and at this rate we're looking at how bad RNG is for the JMML side. While Ikenija gets all these slaps, Jamada would be dead by now. Even this power I don't think is going to help it unless it hits a very, very hard attack, which it probably does, which it does not have, unfortunately. And even if it did, it's missing left and right, so another Toxic Pollen is just going to rub it in the face. No guts, no life, KO, and that is going to be the meat victory for Ikenija and the BNNY side. So as we close out this very quick meet, and this very quick video, which would be nice for consumption, that way you're not looking through the time stamps too much, but I am going to be editing this. The monsters' whole training phases might be put somewhere. I'm definitely going to try to put them somewhere up, just more as a proof of purchase, at least for myself. But if you want to take a look at the rules that I try to use for this meet, which are accurate, I did go over them a few times, they will be in the description below, pinned. Otherwise, if you want to look at more things, subscribe to my channel for longer support. I do have a Patreon as well, but I do also want to give a shout out to the Monster Rancher community. MrMooseBones in particular has a Patreon account, so if you want to go support actual Monster Ranchers, who are both very, very experienced and very, very good on the knowledge they hold of this game. All Monster Rancher games, really. Then go check them out, please. Another shout out to the community, the one in charge of the hard mode mod. I don't want to say his, her, their name specifically, just in case they don't want to. Otherwise, if you don't mind, let me know. I'll just say the name right outright, AL, and I'll leave it at that. But again, please go check out other YouTube channels when they come out, when they start streaming or recording videos for Monster Rancher DX. I will be doing the same, but again, everything will be also below in the description if you want to support those people or me, either one, and that will be it for all. That is the end of the first JMML versus BNNI meet. This is JMML. Thank you for watching. I won't take up more of your time. I hope you have fun. If you're buying DX, I hope you have fun, but otherwise, this is it for now. Thank you for watching. JMML out.